I got nothing else. I just been
Aw.
playing Call of Duty otherwise.
What is up, everybody, from our AT&T 5G virtual studios? Welcome on into the call-up. I'm Susanna Collins alongside Jillian Sakovitz. Happy June, everybody. We are coming off Memorial Day weekend. It's the official start of summer, and June means Pride Month. So I have got my Adidas Pride shirt on. Jill has got some fabulous lights going on in the background of the
Happy
celebration.
Pride!
Heck, yes. We love
Happy
it.
Pride. I
We love
love June
it.
for two reasons. Pride Month. Summer. No,
Yes.
I guess this is three. Also the name of my cat.
Exactly.
June. It's
I
really a
love it.
celebratory month for me.
I thought the cat was going to be number one, but I see what you did there. Well, okay. So as we said, coming off of Memorial Day weekend, this is the official start to the summer, right? Like it's all just, sunshine and sunglasses and beaches
Isn't it
and
always?
boats and all
Isn't
of
it
that.
always?
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to say?
So this brings me to our first here for this, Jill. So I'm at my parents' lake house. We're celebrating Memorial Day over the weekend. It was a little chilly, but we were still able to be outside, went on the pontoon. And I am looking for my signature summer beverage. Okay. Just, something like your go-to that you can do a little bit of day drinking with so you don't get too crazy. But just kind of it's light and refreshing, tastes good. So last year I had tried to jump on the whole spiked seltzer
Right.
craze. And I was like, nah, not for me. Not for me. It just I hated it. So I was like, you know what? There's a whole bunch. There's all these like different kinds now. I'm going to try it again this summer. And maybe I was just in a bad place. Maybe my taste buds were messed up. So
Yeah,
I
last
figured
summer was a little different.
I'd try it again. Exactly.
In
Still
life.
hate it. Still hate it. Still hate it. White Claw, hate it. Truly hate it. It tastes like a mouthful of like metallic water with like a hint of fake fruit flavor in there. And I literally had to spit it out. I hate it. I don't understand why people love this so much, Jill. Like I am not here for spiked seltzer. And I feel like that is a very unpopular take, but it's mine.
Interesting you should mention spiked seltzer because I get the appeal. They're easy. They're not beers.
Yep.
And you can maybe drink them all day, but I'd love to know where these people's sugar levels are at because I feel not great after them. Maybe it's all the sugar, like eating a million Skittles. I'll tell you an interesting story. So when they first came out a few years ago, sorry, I'm having like a major hair issue. When they first came out, I was like, oh, these things taste like nothing. This is great. I don't have to now like concoct my own cocktail. I'll just do it. And I drank 6 of them over the course of a party.
Yeah.
Felt great. Went to bed.
Ooh.
Woke up.
Hangover.
No. Middle of the night, wake up. And I threw up for like 2 hours. And I don't get sick. I don't get sick when I drink.
Yeah.
I will just go to bed.
I don't think I've ever seen you in that state.
And you would know.
I would know.
Yeah, so they were the mermaid ones. I don't even know what those are called, to be so honest with you. They were when they first came out. And never have I ever gone back. I'll have like 1 or 2. I discovered these ones called Press a little. And I think they're the chicer. I'm not trying to stop here. I think they're like ginger pomegranate.
Okay. Elevated
flavors. I had a couple the other night.
Not bad.
No issues.
Okay.
No issues midnight.
My issue is that they just don't taste good. And I was like, I get like it's like 0 calories or,
like,
low calories, whatever. But I'm like, this tastes like
I'll vomit, but I at least want it to taste good.
It just tastes like
Is that
something.
so much to ask for my summer regimen?
All right, Jill, what have you got here for this? Hit me with it.
Really, really, really good question. Naomi Osaka dropped out of the French Open.
Sure
and here's why. She said that it was not good for her mental health. So on Sunday, she was fined $15,000 after she skipped the mandatory press conference following her win at the Open. She had said ahead of time that she would be not doing her press to protect her own mental health. And after she received the fine and threats of disqualification, she decided to withdraw from the French Open. So she said ahead of time that though the tennis press has always been kind to me, I'm not a natural public speaker and I get huge waves of anxiety
Mhm.
before I speak to the world's media. So here in Paris, I was already feeling vulnerable and anxious. So I thought it would be better to exercise self-care and skip the press conferences. So now we miss Osaka's tennis abilities because she doesn't want to do press. And Susanna Collins, I've been very critical in the past of when guys don't want to do press. I guess I've never really been critical of a woman who doesn't want to do press, because sometimes I've looked at it like, okay, but like this is part of your job to do press, right? Like on the call up, if we have Chicharito, Carlos Vela, Joseph Martinez, that
Mhm.
is how you grow the league and grow fandom. But when you hear this, that it's not good for her mental health, I have second thoughts. Are you here for this?
So to your point, I think if you would have asked me this question, maybe even like 3 years ago, I would have been like, no, just, it's part of the job. It's part. But now that, we are talking so much about mental health and how, if you have anxiety, any sort of anxiety disorder, how debilitating that can be. My God, who are we to force somebody to do something that ultimately makes them terribly uncomfortable, creates this sense of anxiety? Like I feel like we as the media need to be more understanding. We need to work with people like that. Like, let's find a way to maybe if it's a one-on-one, she's not as uncomfortable, or maybe there's a setting that can be created for somebody like that. I have no issues with her putting her mental health first and saying this is actually important, because we're coming off of Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, like this is something that we have been talking a lot about, and it's really important, especially after the year that we have just had. And it made me think of, so back in the day, like way in the day, when I was like a little kid, and my mom bought me a tennis racket, and I remember there was a girl named Jennifer Capriati. I don't know if you remember this name, but she was like a 13-year-old phenom. So as like a little girl, I was like, oh my God, Jennifer Capriati, she's so cool. So this girl, I can't remember if she won a major. She went to a final for sure. And at like age 13, and she was on like all the magazine covers. She was everywhere. And then fast forward like 3-4 years later, this girl is in rehab. There's so much pressure on these athletes, especially in a sport like tennis, where it is literally an individual sport.
And you're groomed so
It's
young.
all you are groomed so young. And you just think about these sort of cautionary tales. And I just think that we need to evolve as the conversations have evolved surrounding mental health as media. Like, the expectation for her to get fined $15,000 when she was like, look, like, I'm sick, like I'm not well. And I think that we need to listen. I just think that we need to find
and
better
I think there needs to be
solutions.
protocol put in place, right, Suze?
Yeah.
Because like we can discuss at times, we want to have access to players who just don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like concussions, right? They're really important. It's part of your health. But how do you use the concussion substitution rule in a way that someone's not just manipulating the rule? So there needs to be things in place, and it needs to also be quick, because if someone's having a bad mental health day, that can't like go to a committee, right?
Yeah.
So there just needs to, and hey, if there's a will, there's a way. And there needs to be a way that people can take the time that they need when they aren't well. Or if she does have an anxiety disorder that is chronic and she's suffering from it all the time, we all know anxiety can come in waves, or some people feel it all the time. She needs to be in a safe place to be able to do that. And then on the flip side, it needs to be protected so that journalists can also do their job, because you and I both know the stresses of, well, you need to get the big name, you need to do this. And sometimes people's livelihoods depend on that. So it needs to be a 50-50 effort. And it needs to be that someone like Osaka can be protected, while journalists can still feel like they can do their job, because her mental health is first and foremost the most important thing.
All right, next up, here for this. Okay, so we talked about Mayor of Easttown, another big HBO show that was had social media abuzz, was the big Friends reunion that happened last week, and I have come to a realization in my old age, Jill.
Well, did you watch it?
I did. So I used to watch Friends.
No, the reunion.
I have not watched the reunion yet,
me
but there's a
neither,
reason. There's a reason why. So back in the day, used to watch Friends. I wouldn't say like I was like a super fan, but like I would watch it, and it totally enjoyed it. And then as I've gotten older, and I will see reruns on, and we'll have them on, I'm like, this isn't that good. Like, this isn't funny. I
How
don't think
dare
this is
you?
funny. I know. Like, I'm like, what?
Are
I
you?
don't.
I
I
watch
just feel
Friends
like
to this day.
I feel like it hasn't aged well.
I watch Friends to this day, and I'm like, oh, this is funny. I've never seen this one. The only thing I've seen as of late that I didn't think was that funny was when I think Joey got a turkey stuck on his head, and I was like, that just looks disgusting.
Yeah. No.
Other than
absolutely
that,
gross.
Friends has not. Maybe it's something about my maturity levels.
I don't
Friends has
know.
not aged out with me one bit.
I think I am just getting like old and cynical and like just like
What did you watch from Friends that struck
was
you
a- it
instantly
was-
that you thought was not funny? Was it
I
Ross? Because he's not
no,
that funny.
it was Monica. I was like, you are so annoying. Like you are just like
Did she want to clean up?
I don't know what she was doing. It was one of her like chef episodes and she was just really irritating and like everyone like the canned laughter that they show in the episodes and I was
Yeah.
like this isn't funny. Like I was just like this is funny.
Oh.
So I've been reticent to watch the Friends reunion because I have this sour taste in my mouth about
Let's watch it.
how I feel. But
Let's
I'm like,
watch it and regroup
I should
about this. next week.
probably, but I want to take the temperature of our listeners and viewers. Like, what do we think of Friends now? Obviously, like years on, like, do we still think it's funny, or have I literally turned into a curmudgeon, which is entirely possible. It's totally possible. 2020 sent me over the edge. I blame everything on 2020 now.
All right, let's see if
Just
the reunion reignites. Okay, and we'll discuss. We'll revisit.
I'll be there for you.
Oh, is this what this is about? You just wanted to sing the song.
I'll be there. Sorry, I'll stop now.
Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. One of the most exciting young players in Major League Soccer, midfielder for the Colorado Rapids, just became the Rapids' homegrown leader in goals and assists over the weekend. Cole Bassett. Thanks
Love
for
it.
joining us.
Yeah, of course. Anytime for you guys.
We're
So-
very appreciative.
Very. We are going to break the ice with you real quick, a little icebreaker, kind of like you do at summer camp.
Yep.
First question. You were born in 2001. Have you ever seen an episode of Friends?
I have, because my sister, even though she's a 2006, but she loves it. She's watched it like 3 times all the way through. So I have seen some. Yeah.
What's your sister's name? We are all for that.
Her name is Maya, and she'll
Thanks,
Maya.
she'll love the shout out on the show.
Maya is a friend. What did you think of Friends? Do you enjoy it? Because we
I
had a
do.
whole conversation about it.
It is funny. I like just the little. It's like dry comedy to me sometimes. It's not as much as The Office, like dry comedy, but
Okay.
like I do like it.
All right. I went on a whole tangent about how I used to think it was funny. And then like in my old age, I'm like, is it still funny? I don't know if it's funny anymore, but I'm going to give it another try. I'm going to give it another whirl. Okay.
Yeah.
So what shows right now, Cole Bassett, are you binge watching? What have been kind of your go-tos?
For me, I loved Ozark. I recently just got into like Prison Break. I just watched most of it through. I'm on season 4, but like that's been out forever. But like I didn't really know about it until recently. So I love that, especially the first 2 seasons were great of that. And then kind of more of like a kids show. It's coming up, Outer Banks.
Oh, I loved Outer Banks.
Yeah, it was
John
good.
B. John B is the coolest.
Yeah, exactly. And it's coming out in a month or 2, something like that, the next season. So I'm waiting for that one right now.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Cole Bassett, when was the last time you were nervous?
Every game, Saturday I was. I get nervous before every game. I think it's like, for me it's normal. But if you're not nervous, to me it seems a little weird just because like I care so much about the game. So like I do get nervous to do well, but once you step on the field it goes away. But I always do right before the game.
What did you do with the first like substantial paycheck you got? Did you go out and buy anything extravagant to go to dinner?
Well, most of my teammates, they know they're giving me crap all the time that I'm the cheapest on the team. I still live at home with my parents actually, because I'm that cheap that I don't want to move closer to the stadium. But I did go out with Kellen Acosta, and he's taking me shopping and kind of gotten into style a bit more. And I don't know why, but the first thing I got was Alexander McQueen's. That was like a big purchase, but
Wow.
Like shoes?
pretty cheap. Yeah, the shoes.
Oh, was that a Kellen
Wow.
Acosta? Did he help you with those?
Yeah, he's actually, we've developed a good relationship. We've kind of got him and John Lewis. We kind of got like, Kellen's got a stylist that he uses, and like he's kind of connected us to him.
Oh,
But
Are you
my
spilling secrets right now? Are you allowed to
God.
tell us that Kellen has a stylist?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have a stylist, but like you gotta make a little bit more money, to
Sure,
get
you'll get there,
Okay.
my friend.
that
You're
point.
getting there.
Yeah, but yeah.
You blew our minds right there, by the way, because Kellen, we had a question about like the whole style thing, which we'll get to, and Kellen has been getting a lot of love for his swagger.
But does he deserve it now? Because
But now we know he's got.
We don't know. Okay,
Well, I
who?
mean, to be fair, like this, it's like a collaboration. It's not like he said, oh, you're wearing this. Like Kellen has a say in what he wears too. Like, but he's a guy that like he pulls stuff off that most of us couldn't pull off.
Yeah. Who was the soccer player you watched and you said, I want to do that?
There's been many throughout the years. I think when I was younger, Thiago, who's on Liverpool now, but not like too similar to him. So it's like tough for me because he's a little bit smaller and he's a little bit more defensive. So then it didn't like resonate with me as much. But nowadays, I'd say probably Kevin De Bruyne and Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount for me has been like the biggest in the past year or so, just because of I see myself in him in a lot of ways. A hard worker and try to be good on the ball and have end products. So I think for me, it's probably him, I would say. And he's just kind of risen up to the top in the last year. And I'd say he's one of the best midfielders in the world right now. So.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Rapids, Cole. So you guys are off to a pretty decent start to this season. You're sitting 4th in the West, 13 points. You've collected 9 out of a possible 12 points in your last 4 games. Tell me why we, as like MLS pundits, have all been sleeping on the Rapids. What is it about this team that has made you guys successful so far?
Well, I mean, I think the Rapids have always kind of been a team that's less talked about than other teams. Maybe it's just the market that we're in. I don't know. But I think this team's kind of it's been a couple years in the making, to be honest. I was signed in 2018, so I've kind of seen the whole process of it because the year I signed, I think we finished second to bottom. So I didn't play much in that year, but I've seen like the evolution of this team over the past 3 or 4 years. And I think we've just brought in the pieces year by year. I think this is, or at least, I mean, last year it kind of clicked, to be fair. I mean, finishing 5th in the West over like LAFC and teams like that, that's not an easy feat, especially for us where we really only had one DP as well for the whole year. So I think now this year is kind of where, yeah, we did it last year, but can we prove it again this year that we are one of the top dogs in the West and that we can continuously prove that we're good enough to be a contender in this league. So I think we've got some special pieces, and that's what makes us kind of good. It's kind of the team. It's not like we have individuals where you have a Carlos Vela that, oh, he's going to go win you the game. We do have players that can do that, but it's a team effort.
Well said, Cole Bassett. And on that note, I actually have to issue the Colorado Rapids an apology. In our preseason rankings, that Hannah Collins and I really, honestly, we don't want to do them. We are forced to.
Hate it. It's the worst.
And I have a very soft spot in my heart for the Colorado Rapids. I've gotten to work with them a couple times. Love the city of Denver, and I picked them finishing really low. I think finishing in like the bottom 5 in the West. And I got a lot of crap. I got a lot of crap from the front office, and I'd like to issue a formal apology because here the Rapids are sitting 4th in the Western Conference, and I know nothing, and that is confirmed. So anyway, on that note, Cole Bassett, your name gets brought up, when you chat MLS, overseas. We're talking a little bit about some guys you like just moments ago. European clubs, sniffing around. When you see guys like Daryl DK, Brenden Aaronson, or even Tyler Adams, Zach Steffen, and what they've been able to do through MLS, whose career path do you look at with MLS guys and say, whoa?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Brenden for me. And it was funny because all those guys you named were just here training in our stadium about an hour ago. But
right. Yes.
I would say Brenden. And I'm pretty close friends with him. I've got to know him. We started at the homegrown game together and the rookie symposium, actually. So I've known him for a while, and I just feel like we're pretty similar. He's probably got a bit more he's got dynamism, however you say the word is, and he's good on the dribble. But I think for me, playing in a similar position and going over to a system that fits him with an American coach and doing really well in the league, and now he's in the national team and looks to be a key player for them. I think that's kind of who I look at, that maybe it's somewhere I want to follow a bit, but also I want to create my own path, and I don't want to do exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've gotten the call up for the U.S. men's national team. You got your first senior call up last year. What is kind of your North Star, if you will, for your U.S. men's national team ambitions? What is the ultimate goal for you when it comes to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think for everybody, it's got to be a World Cup. To play in a World
Mhm.
Cup for the U.S. would be amazing. And if it's here in 2026, if it's next year, whatever for me, I don't really care where it would be. But to represent the U.S. At a national event like that would be something that you dream of as a kid. But for me, it's trying to get back into it right now. Like, obviously, I'm not in the picture for Nations League, but the Gold Cup's coming up in the summer, and I think I'm really trying to make a push towards that roster and be a part of that and help us try to win a trophy because I want to represent this country. And yeah, it's definitely one of my goals to be a part of it with such a fun and exciting young group of guys.
You mentioned that you just saw some of the guys, the national team guys at the stadium, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, Honduras plays USA on Thursday. You guys gonna go?
Yeah, we are. We just
Do you get a suite? Like, where do you guys get to sit?
I honestly don't know. So, I mean, we know the national team coordinator, so I think we can get tickets. But we were trying to get more tickets, but Kellen's got so much family coming into town. He
It's
couldn't
always
get us
Kellen's
tickets.
fault.
Yeah, so
High maintenance, this guy.
he is. He didn't have enough tickets for his friends, but yeah, I think we're going. I think me, John Lewis, Sammy Vines, and Austin Trusty, because we've all represented the U.S. So I think we're all going to try to head out to that game after training.
It's a family fair for you, Cole, because your brother Sam is with the Development Academy in the Rapids, and we heard that Jack Price dubbed you guys an amazing nickname. He calls you the Bassett Hounds. Can you confirm?
Yeah.
Can you
We have
confirm that
spies
this is
everywhere.
true?
Cole.
Yeah, we are every single day when I come in. I am good morning, Bassett Hound. How are you doing? In his British accent, and then he's Price Dog. So, I mean, he gives out some good nicknames. To be fair, I mean, there's some that I can't say on the podcast. They're a little,
Oh,
you know,
Ooh, we like that.
just from being from Wolverhampton, Shrewsbury, wherever I just love the British guys like him, Danny Wilson. When Tim Howard was here, even though he's American, grew up there for
honorary Brit.
Yeah, exactly. So I love their banter that they have. It's just funny listening to him. So yeah, he's come up with some good ones. To be fair,
A little birdie told us too. You trialed with Arsenal back in the day. Can you just tell us what that was like for a young guy go over there and be with Arsenal?
yeah, it was pretty cool. I think what topped it off is that I was an Arsenal fan ever since I was younger. So to be actually like to go over there and see what London's like, to be at their training ground, and then when I went into training with them, being around guys like Lacazette and Ozil and stuff like that, I was just in awe because I was 18 at the time, and you watch those guys week in, week out on the TV. So when you go over there and actually train with them, you're just like, whoa, like this is actually crazy that you're with especially for me, Mesut Ozil is a guy I've watched for the past 4 or 5 years, and he was killing it there, at least when I was younger watching. So to step into training with them and just experience what it's like day in, day out there was an incredible experience. Like I can't thank Arsenal and Rapids enough for that.
How do you kind of temper any sort of nerves that you would have in that situation? Because for me, I would be so intimidated if I was about to take the field with people that I had idolized for a long time. But like knowing that you have the ability, they called you there for a reason. How do you kind of get over that hurdle of maybe any sort of anxiety that you would have?
I think the nice thing is that the day I went in there was other 23s that actually are now on the first team, like Naomi Osaka and stuff like that. But they were in training with me. There was like 5 of us that went up because I was like half with the 23s, half with the first team while I was there. So I actually got kind of lucky that I already knew some of those guys. And there's a guy that's actually American as well, Flo Balogun. He's a dual international that some people want to get over here. But it was just nice having guys that I knew over there, and then they just kind of helped me integrate into training. And those guys are actually like, I thought they'd be a bit more intimidating and stuff like that, but I mean, I walked up and like David Luiz comes up to you and says hi. They're all friendly, and like I think he was the best guy. Like he's one of the best guys I've met, even though it was very little interaction. But him and Hector Bellerin like kind of just came up and introduced me to everybody, and that just made it easier. And then from there, I mean, we were just playing like mostly. We did like 7v7 and 8v8 stuff. So once you're playing, it's like you're out there just doing what you've done your whole life. So it kind of goes away.
Well, before we let you go, quick game time. This is when we put really the pressure on Cole Bassett, okay?
Intense. Real intense.
We have a game for you today, Cole Bassett. It is called Rapids Fire. I think you see where this one's going. Who has the stronger style game on the team? You sound like you're getting close, but Keegan Rosenberry or Kellen Acosta?
Oh, yeah. See, oh my God. I'm going to give it to Keegan, even though I love Kellen's style, but I just think Keegan consistently like looks good every single week when he shows up to training, and like he doesn't have a style that's kind of out there. It's very modern and stuff like that, but I just love the way that he puts clothes together. But I mean, Kellen, just some of the stuff that he wears that he pulls off, I don't know how he does it, but it's pretty good too.
So you're saying you're not putting on the tall, high socks anytime soon, Cole Bassett? Is that what you're telling us?
Shorts with the suit? Yeah, I don't think that's me, but
LeBron does it too. He pulled it off well.
Yep.
The stylist might get me into it. You never know.
I appreciate how Keegan switches it up with the eyewear as well. You know, Jill, you mentioned the blue light glasses. Like, I feel like Keegan is always wearing different little rims, and it's a good look. He does pull it off. Okay. On the topic of Keegan Rosenberry, has he ever cut your hair?
He does almost weekly. I have like 2 barbers, so I have Keegan, and then I have a guy that like me and Kellen and John Lewis go to. So I like switch off between them depending on the week, just kind of like availability, because Keegan's like right here. So I don't know how he learned how to do this so well without ever being taught, but he's very good.
I asked him that once. He told me YouTube videos. Do you pay Keegan to cut your hair, or is this like pro bono?
I give him money because he's taking his time to cut my hair. Like there has been
side hustle.
There's been some guys that have stiffed him though, and he doesn't get too mad, but there's been some guys that just don't give him any money and he's not very happy about it.
Right? It's like, bro, hit me up on Venmo, give me that tip. You know, like, geez, it's funny though. When he was with the union, they built a barber chair in their new training facility specifically so Keegan could cut guys' hair, and I was like, what?
No pressure, Colorado.
We just use this chair that I'm sitting on right now.
Close to a barber chair. Close enough.
Exactly.
Next question. What is in the bag, Cole? So every time we see these pictures of you guys walking into the stadium, you've got your little vanity bag, and we're like, don't you have anything that's in there in your locker already? Like, what are you transporting?
Can't you leave your deodorant in your locker?
Like, we talk about it as women all the time. Like, we have to carry a clutch sometimes when we like go out and it's fancy, and it's a pain in the butt because it doesn't have a strap. Like, you literally have to hold it like a puppy. And I'm like, this is a choice that these players are making. So tell us, Cole, what is in your bag?
Well, you got a lot of things. So, I mean, the main things for me, I need chapstick. I don't know why, but I love to have chapstick on me. So I always carry that. I got like deodorant, hair gel, shampoo, and then just like accessories like nail clippers if you ever need them. I kind of just keep it all in there because we actually have to do a locker room shuffle is what they call it. So we have like 3 different locker rooms here right now because of COVID. So like the locker room, but like when it comes to game day, you're like if you're in the starting 11, you're actually in the first team locker room. So like I'm always moving into that locker room. So I kind of like I can't keep my stuff in this locker because then the visiting team comes and uses that locker. So
the bag makes sense in this scenario.
This makes so much sense. Literally shedding light on this.
Stylish too. Like I'll shout out Tim Howard is the one that gave it to me. It was like to be honest, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what Louis Vuitton was. Like
wait, your bag is from Tim Howard?
Yeah. So
like your actual bag?
Yeah. Because I signed, and it was like 3 or 4 days in, and he's like, Coley, I got a little present in your locker for you. And I walked over and it says Louis Vuitton, and like I was just 17, I had no clue what it was, and I was like, thank you very much. And then I realized actually how much like it costs, and then like that's just such a nice gift.
Oh my God!
So I was very thankful from him.
He wanted you to look good, and when you enter the stadium.
Yeah, so I always got to wear.
He knew.
Who on the team, Cole, would you not want to make angry?
There's a couple guys. Lalas Abubakar definitely stands out. He will 2-foot you very hard. But then there's guys like, I probably don't want to mess with Austin Trusty, to be honest. He doesn't maybe he doesn't look as intimidating, but like if you go into a tackle with that guy and he's like mad at you, it's not a very good sight. And then Yeah, last one is Brian Galvan. He's got a little bit of an Argentinian spice to him, which I love. Like, we're good friends, but like
Yeah.
sometimes in training he'll get into it. So I'd probably say those three.
Ooh,
Let me
good.
tell you this funny story side note. I was in an airport in Accra, Ghana, boarding a flight, dropped off by Jonathan Mensah. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But I see hair that I recognize through the airport. And I'm like, Jill, there's no way Lala Abubakar, someone else has hair like that. There's no way you're an MLS loser. Stop thinking you're citing MLS players all over Ghana. Turns out it was Lala Abubakar, and he is the only man in the world with that flow. So
I know. We've told him
it's
to cut-
recognizable worldwide.
Yeah, I know it is. That's why he keeps it, I think. I mean, he said he was going to keep it, I believe, until he saw his mother, but then he's seen her since. So
It's just like
he
It's a staple.
you're just going with it. Okay, last question before we let you go, Cole.
Okay.
Your head coach, Robin Fraser, okay? Like, this guy is doing a heck of a job with the Rapids, but he's somebody that I feel like we don't talk enough about. We don't know enough about Robin Fraser. What is one thing that you can tell us about him that might surprise us?
He is probably the easiest coach to go talk to that you'll ever meet. I think he's just one of the most like genuine guys off the field, which sometimes, like, at least with head coaches, they're a little bit more arrogant and they feel like they're the top man. But he's like a guy that knows how to like turn the switch on and off. Like, he knows like when we have to go hard and he has to be intense and help us win, like he's there. But then you can just go and have a conversation with him about anything. And I think that's the nicest thing for me as a young player, is that you can kind of just always go have a chat with him whenever you need. So I'd say that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things, but obviously I don't know him like too well into his personal life to know.
Aww.
No, that's what I've heard. Carlos Bocanegra, obviously vice president, technical director at Atlanta United, once told me he's one of the nicest guys in the world. So that just seems
Sounds like it.
The truth about Robin Fraser, who is on our wish list here on the call up.
Yeah, I'll have a word with him after this.
Thank you. Please do. Tell him how much fun you had on the call up.
I will.
Well, Cole, thank you so much again for coming on. We wish you all the best this season. Enjoy the little international break and have fun at the game.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And hopefully we can see you guys out of the game soon.
100%.
Yes. Go play Call of Duty. Kick some butt.
I will. Thank you guys.
What's on tap? Like we mentioned, MLS is celebrating Pride Month throughout June. So be kind to each other. Be inclusive. Be thoughtful. Think about other people. And be on the lookout to see how your clubs and communities are celebrating, including Pride Nights and other initiatives. That is always a good chance to get your hands on some really sweet rainbow swag that the clubs put out, which ended up, I got a rainbow, which Suze, I gave to you to take my hair. Which I gave to you to take to Paris. I got a clear and rainbow fanny pack from the LA Galaxy, which is one of my favorite things, I got to say, that I got out of a Pride Month.
I loved that, and I wore that to the World Cup match in Paris because you had to have the clear bags, and Jill was so nice and let me borrow it, and it was fabulous, and I loved it. The training kits that they do for Pride Month.
I want those.
They are so great.
I don't have one.
I have one from Sporting Kansas City. They sent me one maybe 2 years ago. I know. We love them. So, teams, if you're listening and you want us to rock your Pride jerseys, we will gladly do that. Just saying. Okay, what else? Well, hey, we're in an international break. Y'all, we don't have MLS games for a minute, but we have some CONCACAF Nations League kicking off June 3rd, and the U.S. men's national team is going to take on Honduras. And what's also so cool is our very own Charlie Davies is part of the announcer lineup for CBS. We're just couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
And my teammate at Atlanta United, Marisa Dew.
Yes, exactly. So our friends are doing big things, and we're very, very proud of them. And we're proud of all the MLSers that got call-ups to their international squads, which is so
Honduras,
cool.
US.
Hello. That's it's always fun. It's always spicy. It's always like a very tasty matchup. But we have MLS players representing Canada, Venezuela, Paraguay. There's a ton. So guys, we'll have a whole bunch of MLS players on display for you to watch during this international break. And that's always cool. It's a really cool thing.
And plus, the U.S. women's national team back in action on June 10th. With friendly versus Portugal.
Love that. Love that. Love
so you
that.
got plenty to watch, people. Don't be sad.
No shortage of soccer in these parts, kiddos. Man, that was fun.
We got and you know what? We're going to have a big show in store for people next week.
I know.
So watch out for that.
Fingers crossed everything works out. Guys, thanks. Thanks so much for hanging with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your kickoff to summer. Crack a few cold beverage, not White Claw. Just saying. Help me find it. Find my drink for the summer.
White Claw is now never going to be a sponsor of the call. I just crossed one right off our list, Susan.
Sorry, Jill. Yeah, I messed that one up. There are others. We'll find it. It's out there. Our unicorn is out there, but you guys have to help us. What's up, everybody? It is Susanna Collins and Jillian Sakovitz, co-hosts of The Call Up. And if you want more Call Up action, hit like and subscribe right here on YouTube, right there.
And also make sure that you download every episode of The Call Up every single Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time or anywhere that you get your podcasts. And while you're here, why not check out some of these other videos as well?